Hello, I'm Leah Grant and I'm a street artist. I paint large-scale murals. Sometimes I work with private clients, sometimes it's a council project or a school project. And every mural that I paint, it has an intentional use of colour to transform the space. I run loads of street art tours around Adelaide, and now I want to take you on a street art tour of Prospect and the Adelaide CBD. Street art is artwork that is installed in a public space, usually outside, and it's accessible to the public. It can be installed with permission or without, and sometimes it's on trains, buildings, signs, fences, bins and trucks. There are many different forms of street art, including murals, paste-ups, stickers, tags, throw-ups, mosaics, stencils, and so much more. It can be made from any material, and it's really about using the city as a canvas. Let's talk about the difference between street art and work inside a gallery. I'm an absolute art lover. It doesn't matter if it's work inside a gallery or on the streets, I want to see it. I'm interested in all forms, from sculpture to drawings to murals and stencils. What I love about street art is how temporal it is. You don't know when it's going to be removed or damaged, compared to work that is inside a gallery that is carefully stored away and it's exhibited from one place to another and it can be moved. Work in a gallery is also protected with controlled lighting, temperatures, frames, security, and protected from the weather. Street art has the ability to surprise you when you least expect it. You can turn a corner on your way to work and see a huge mural covering the side of a building. So you get that accidental experience of art. When you go to a gallery, it's very intentional, it's planned, it's a curated experience, and you've got that expectation before you walk through the doors. Of course, both experiences can be powerful, but as an artist, you have to consider how the audience will experience your work. How will they interact with it? For a mural, the public can touch the surface, lean against it, or completely ignore it. So how are you going to hold their attention and make a plain surface into something that they can admire or perhaps be challenged by? Some of the street artists that I admire include Jack Fran, Claire Foxton, Vance the Amiga, Jasmine Crisp, Jimmy C, Roan and Lisa King. I recently collaborated on a mural with Jack Fran at an event in Prospect, and this was such a great experience to brainstorm ideas together and come up with how our different styles could come together to transform a laneway. Being able to paint together and just sharing conversation about what it's like to be an artist and simple things about what materials we like to use was so valuable to me. Some artists hold their knowledge really close to their chest, and I think that's fair enough. They've worked really hard, but I'm so grateful for the artists who have been willing to answer my questions and give me feedback and encouragement along the way. Another artist who I think of is Vance the Amiga, who is seen like the father of street art in Adelaide. He's so generous and supportive and beyond talented in his own work and innovation. I'm also inspired by emerging artists and students. When I'm mentoring and teaching others, I learn through watching their approach to how they're drawing and also how they're approaching a problem. Street art was born out of a need for artists to have a voice, to express their ideas and to really experiment. And I think it should challenge the audience, surprise them, delight them. It's really phenomenal to think that back when I was at high school, graffiti was considered disgraceful, ugly, and a menace. And now it's not getting removed by council, it's actually being funded by council. Society has seen the value that it brings for culture to the area, but also it's a landmark and it has the power to make that area safer. Colour on a wall can actually impact the way that people behave in a space. And to me, that's incredibly powerful. I painted this mural with the expectation that it was going to be painted over within the week of the event. That gave me the freedom to try a new style, which was painting with pattern and experimenting with different line work. The idea came from a sketch of a peacock, and the response was so positive that it's still there, and it's been over 5 years since I painted it. At the same event, when I was painting this in Prospect, Sarah Bowes was painting this mural around the corner. I admire her style so much. She can paint anything. Sarah is a talented illustrator with ideas that tell a story and draw the audience in. Unique to Prospect is Cab 101 Lane. This has been named after the local artist Cab 101, who has looked after this space for years. He paints here regularly, and the businesses and homes nearby are grateful for what he brings to the space. Peter Drew's illegal paste-ups are a much loved addition to the city. You can spot them all around, and his attention to detail about where he places them is clearly thought through, and I admire the message and conversations that his work brings. Jasmine Crisp is a jaw-dropping artist. She creates portraits that hold symbolism, and every time I look at her work, I am drawn into some detail and see something new. There is so much emotion in her work, and she is insanely talented with a unique style. The difference between street art and graffiti is really based on your opinion. It's all street art, but some people do refer to graffiti with that negative connotation of work that is damaging or vandalizing property without permission, whereas street art is usually work that has been installed by an artist that is commissioned, they're paying the artist, they have permission, and they're installing a mural, and it's usually over a longer period of time. For this mural, I was looking for inspiration for the project, and I found an old women's weekly magazine from the 60s with an advertisement of a woman holding a sign, "Happiness is a flat tummy." She was wearing a corset and selling underwear, smiling, proclaiming that happiness comes from your image. I was quite shocked by this, and also realised at the same time that we are still marketing products the same way, that we're selling that you can buy happiness and you can purchase it. What I've done is I've taken this statement and I've crossed out some of the words, and I know the audience might interpret that Leah Grant thinks that happiness comes from a thin figure. Maybe someone else has crossed out the lines. But what is more important to me is not what they think about me, but the message that this artwork can have. And what people have responded is that they've begun to question, where is happiness found and how are they seeking it? That's when the message of the artwork goes beyond the artist and what's intended. This is just a small snippet of what street art is in Adelaide. Go out and have a look for yourself. There are so many murals to see, and it's ever evolving.